Hey everyone, so I'm super excited to be back and filming for you guys, and before I get started with the video, I do want to apologize for taking such a long break and kind of explain that a little bit. First of all, school came up. I just decided I needed to focus on school. I wasn't doing as good as I knew I could, so I decided to go ahead and focus on that. And then summer came around and I did some fun stuff at the beginning of my summer break just to kind of celebrate, like, you know what, I'm done, I'm gonna have some fun. And then we got to summer and I just didn't want to film, and I finally realized it was because I just wasn't quite happy with the way things were turning out and looking, and I decided I wanted to make it better. So I have a surprise coming. I don't know when I'm going to be able to announce it. It's not like a collab or anything. It's just a project I'm working on personally, and I'm, you know, as I get closer to telling you guys about it, I will then be able to, or I will tell you more, but for now it's a secret. And if you want to learn more about it, subscribe and hit that subscribe button down below, and you will get to see what it is, and I'm super excited for it. But until then, I'm going to be focusing on my back to school series, and I have a ton of what I think is amazing content. I took a lot of time to plan out these videos because I know that a lot of the videos are generic, run-of-the-mill, and they say this, a lot of them are the same tips over and over and over, and they're not different, and to me that's not helpful. So I took the time to find new tips, things I plan on implementing into my back to school season this year, and I hope you guys find them helpful. I took a ton of time to plan out these videos, and I will be doing like the classic school supplies haul, how I'm organizing, and those kinds of videos as well, but I'm doing other videos that I think will be super helpful. And while I'm doing my back to school series, I will be uploading 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, or at least trying to. There may be some days that I'm not able to if I'm super busy, because I'm still trying to enjoy my summer and do things. So I hope you guys understand that. And then once school starts up, I will probably only be posting once, maybe twice a week. I just kind of have to feel out the first couple weeks of school, which I'll still be in my back to school series at that point, but we'll have to feel out that week or two, and then from there I will decide how many times a week I want to post on this channel for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let's just get started. And I haven't even told you what today's video is yet, and I'm sure you read it in the title. It is a organization tips video, and I've kind of broken up these tips into 3 chunks, and I'll tell you what each chunk is kind of centered around. The first chunk of tips is kind of centered around preparing before you go back to school. So the first tip that I want to tell you guys is to prepare ahead of time. Do not waste the last minute. This goes for anything, whether it's preparing for school or a school project, you know, anything in general related to school, or preparing for something else. Waiting to the last minute never works. The second tip is to throw away unnecessary things. Trashed school supplies, just trash in your room in general. You should probably throw it away. But anyways, that's not what this video is about. So throwing away old papers from the previous year that you're not going to use. Now, if you're taking, like, I don't know, like an advanced algebra course, and you already took an like basic algebra course, you can't keep that stuff because it may come back up in, you know, the harder course that's related. But if you're going to be taking classes that aren't related to anything you've taken before, and you don't plan on taking anything in the future that's related to any past classes, then get rid of it. So I'm going to give you guys an example so this makes sense. Last year I took a chemistry class for my major. I don't have to take any chemistry class ever again. I recycled that stuff. This year I'm taking an intro to business class, which is just like a basic class that goes over just a general overview of everything. So it talks about a bunch of topics that kind of, you know, and doesn't get super specific. and I'm majoring in business, so I'm going to be taking a bunch more business classes, meaning I'm probably going to keep that stuff just because then I have it to reference back on, especially if you're not taking classes that are related to it right away, because especially in college you have a lot of classes and there's a lot of other people who are taking the same classes as you, and so you don't always get things the way you want them. Okay, enough on tip 2, let's move on to tip 3, and that is to figure out what supplies you need before you go to the store. I see so many videos, or I've seen so many videos of people doing their school supplies haul, and I just said haul really weird, oh my goodness. Of people doing their school supplies haul, and they get things and they're like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to use it, but if I don't use it this year, I'll maybe use it next year. I'll figure out a way to use it. Like, if you're not going to use it, don't buy it. Don't waste the money on it. Figure out what you need, what you want. Watch videos ahead of time. Figure out what you want. Meaning you should watch the rest of my back to school series so I can tell you guys all about the things you're going to need. And I'll also be doing my school supplies haul soon. You should watch out for that, and if you want to be notified when that gets posted, then subscribe. Let's just move on to the next tip. I feel like tip number 3 was pretty self-explanatory. There's no point in buying things you don't need. It's just a waste of money. Sometimes. Sometimes it may work out, but there's a chance it's just not going to. Moving on to tip 4, organize your workspace. Even if you just, like, you know, you do your homework under your bed, then clean your room. Less distractions. It's going to make you feel a lot more calm and a lot more happy. I find that a happy room makes me happy. A happy room. Winning. I find that a clean room makes me happy and more calm, and I definitely recommend you do that. You guys can't see, but I have boxes and just stuff well, okay, it's messy for me. Some people this may not be messy, but it's messy for me, and definitely I plan on cleaning this up before I start school. But I recommend you do it. It's just going to help you feel better and just feel accomplished. And the last tip in this section is to establish a routine before you get back into school mode. Sorry if the light is fluctuating. The sunlight is at an angle to come in my window just right, so I don't know if the light's fluctuating at all, but I'm sorry if it is. But anyways, if you establish your routine, it's just going to help you adjust to school easier. Like the night before your first day of school, you don't want to be in the habit of staying up till 3 in the morning and sleeping till noon because you can't sleep till noon. So, about a week or 2 before, you should definitely start going to bed at a good time and going to sleep and getting your body into that routine. It's going to help a lot. A lot. And if you have trouble falling asleep, get a natural sleep aid. You can get melatonin, and you can get like natural ones that can help you fall asleep. There's tons of things you can do to help you relax and fall asleep easier, so do what you need to do. So the next section of tips is related to, like, not necessarily the beginning of the school year, but just kind of organization throughout, that will use things you're going to want to do throughout the whole year that are just going to help you continue to stay organized. The first one is to plan your week ahead on a Sunday night. So I like to go ahead on a Sunday night, grab my planner, make sure I have everything up to date in my monthly spread, which I'll show you guys. So for example, in January, so on the weekend before, on a Sunday, I will try, or whenever. It doesn't even have to be on a Sunday, but just at some point during the weekend, plan ahead for your week. So Monday through Friday, even Saturday, just because Saturdays can sometimes be crazy because that's when everyone wants to do things. I'd like to plan ahead, so I like to update my monthly spreads with any new information, even if it's in the next month, just so it's there right away. Then I can go ahead. Ooh, I didn't even use it. Winner. Then I can go ahead and maybe for Monday fill out any homework assignments, anything you know you have ahead of time. And just plan out even your weekly spreads, your day, if you have like make a daily one for like each day you have a daily calendar, go ahead and update it on there. Do what you need to do, but just plan, you know, whether it's just a monthly spread or a weekly spread or both, plan ahead. That makes sense. I feel like that was a really long way to explain it, but that's okay. This tip also goes along with that. Use a planner. I can't stress it enough. This year I have a planner like this, which is a daily and monthly planner. And then I also got a just monthly calendar. It just has monthly layouts in it, which I'm going to talk more about that a little bit later, which I'll show my school supplies haul. It's going to be a secret until then, which means you should subscribe. I feel like I'm asking you guys to subscribe a lot, but I hope you guys do, because for the next tip, you should create a master list of assignments. And I don't mean like all the small like readings and like homework assignments. I mean like the larger assignments like papers, tests, maybe quizzes if they're worth quite a bit in that class. Just like any big things that are going to affect your grade if you don't do great on them. And for those assignments, I like to track them on the monthly planner that I have, and it just shows the months. If you're looking for good ones, go to Target. Target has great ones, okay? They're so cute. But anyways, plan them on there. You can even plan like the days leading up to what you're going to do to prepare. Do it. Please do it. It will save you. I'm doing it this year, and I kind of did it last year just in a different way, and I'm hoping this year, like this revised method, will help me a lot because I want to stay on top of things. This next tip is tracking those larger assignments on a separate calendar. I just told you guys that's what I'm doing. You can definitely still do it in your planner if you want, but I just find that larger assignments tend to take a lot more planning, which is why if they're on a separate calendar, it gives you the visual. This tip is more for the beginning of the year, but even when you change classes, when you switch semesters or however you do it, but when you have different classes and you finish up other ones, prioritize at the beginning. So whether it's the beginning of the year, the beginning of a new semester, whatever, prioritize your classes and figure out which ones you need to spend more time on and are more high priority, and which ones are more low grade, low priority, aren't as big of a deal. So you know which ones you really should be spending time on and which ones that if you don't get to them all the time, you're still going to do okay. And then when it comes to school, I like to create a specific like study plan or weekly schedule for school. Every week I like to sit down. 4 out of my 5 classes this semester are online, so we get all of our assignments for the week, for like a week chunk of time. That's how it's been in the past anyways. So we get all of our everything that we need to do in a week period, and then on the next week we have new things to do. So I like to kind of look at those, figure out what I'm going to do when, and kind of create like a timetable for myself so I can kind of stay on track and plan things out, and which helps me get more done, but I can still work in like time to film and time to do things I want to do. The last chunk of tips is kind of just like organization tips that are said a lot, but I really think they help. So yes, these are things that you're going to hear other people say, but I think they are helpful and I use them forever, so I know they work, and I recommend them. Like, I recommend all of these, and I probably have said that a ton too. I'm probably going to say it a lot, but that's okay. The first one in this little chunk of tips is to have separate supplies for each class. I know some people like to have one giant binder with everything in it. I think it's a lot harder to stay organized that way. Things can get jumbled and messy and lost, and unless you're super organized and diligent about keeping it organized and taking it home on the weekends and, you know, making sure everything's nice, it's just like a disaster waiting to happen. So I like to have separate folders and notebooks, and if I have binders at all, I have separate binders for each class. And I definitely think it helps. I've always been super organized, and I've always done that way. Also, I think having color schemes is probably the best way to organize. Now let me tell you, you can definitely still do designs, but make sure the designs have enough color differential that you can, you know, still buy supplies every year, if that makes sense. Because I saved money by, I got a set of, I have six plastic folders that I've been using since 7th grade, and I'm still using them. They're still in great shape because they're plastic, and because they're all solid colors, I have no problems getting notebooks that match them but don't cross, for the most part. I've had a little bit of crossing, but since I'm really OCD about being organized, I haven't had any issues. But if you're the type of person that's hard to stay organized, have separate colors for each class and don't have anything overlap, and it's going to be a lot easier if any of that just... The next two tips are, they're gonna sound like they're just gonna clash, but they're important. So the first thing is to clean things out every once in a while. What I mean by that is that, you know, you don't have to have everything in your folder, especially when it comes to things like larger assignments like papers. Chances are teachers aren't going to quiz you on paper materials. In most cases, don't quote me on that. So those types of things you can recycle, and you know, honestly, for the most part, for day-to-day school, you don't need every single piece of paper from the whole year. You just need current materials. So clean them out, get them out, but keep the important things like old tests. Those can be great study materials for finals, and anything else that could help you later on in the year. You're gonna have to use your own judgment on that, but once you kind of get the hang of it, it's not that difficult. The next tip is to spend the weekend getting ahead. So spend 30 minutes on each class over, you know, whether you do 2 classes on one day and 2 classes on the other day, Saturday, Sunday, for 30 minutes. Spend a little bit of time just getting ahead, reading the materials, taking notes, whatever it is, but just keep moving. Don't use the weekend to just stop and not get anything done. Just set aside a little bit of time to keep moving ahead. And the 17th and final tip, if you've been counting, there's 17 tips. Prepare for the night before. So every night I like to get ready anything that I'm going to need just to be organized for the next day. It just sets you up for success. So I like to decide on my hair, makeup, outfit if I'm leaving the house. Depending on what I'm doing, I like to plan all of that out. Also, anything else that I may need, and just cleaning up, you know, picking things up, making sure everything's nice and ready for the beginning of the week. It just helps everything. So I hope this video was helpful. Please comment down below if these tips were unique and different, and I put a lot of time into this video, and obviously, like I said, some of these weren't all unique, but I tried to find and come up with tips that I use, that I didn't even realize I use some of them, and things that I plan to use that I think will really help, and they're not just like basic ones. I tried to come up with some unique ones, and yeah, just give me feedback in the comments. Like this video if you enjoyed it and it was helpful. Subscribe for like the 4th time, and also I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys! Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be filming a video, and it is going to be a video all about budgeting. So I'm going to be showing you guys 2 different methods, like the 2 main methods, and some tips for those, and also a few other tips before we get into those.